Friends, if you're a city finance director or a CFO, it's your job to manage the budget process, and it doesn't end when the budget is adopted. When you have multiple departments and maybe community members competing for finite funding, you have got to put a process in place that is objective. You do not want to be the target, the opinion that everyone tries to sway. This is to offer a plan and a process so you can succeed in helping those you serve succeed. I'm talking about wait list budgeting, and in this video, I'll explain the process. I wish for you to improve trust and credibility, to give you a more successful city budget process and a smoother implementation when the budget year starts and plays out. During your budget kickoff, try articulating this. I recommend this be among your recurring phrases that you repeat. Money will fix every problem in the city. There's never enough money, though. Budgeting is really about prioritizing what uses of funding are the highest priority for limited revenue. Everyone should know, because they hear it often, that a budget really articulates the priorities of the city. It's a policy document that's about priorities and promises that just happens to be denominated in dollars. Dollars is how we measure how many and which priorities we can fund. Is this what happens in the real world? We spend months and months forecasting revenue, collecting budget needs requests, and we go through a lot of public discussion to match our scarce revenue to the absolute top priorities. The budget gets adopted, and we're done. All we have to do is execute on the adopted budget for the next 12 months, just as we committed. Is that what happens? Of course not. The budget is probably obsolete even before it's adopted. Real-world problems have to be addressed. No budget survives first contact with real life. So what happened? Do some of you experience a more frustrating reality? Do you see impulsive decisions happen after a well-run budget process, as if the adopted budget got put on a shelf and forgotten, only to have important things be eclipsed by new urgencies? Did new popular ideas override things that were less visible? Did luxuries supersede necessities? Did existing obligations that we know we're behind on taking care of get steamrollered by nifty new things? Please talk about these dichotomies, these competing trade-offs during budget meetings. They're useful for everyone to be reminded of repeatedly. They won't prevent poor decisions, but it's important that when political or expedient exceptions have to be made, everyone at least knows the sound guiding principles that are supposed to be the general rule. So here's what you want to convey as a budget philosophy. You, as a finance director or CFO, are the leader of the budget process. It's only going to go well because of you. Now, it might not go well due to the lack of cooperation from others, but that's on them. It for sure can't go well if you don't seek very purposely these 4 goals. You need to articulate that you are pursuing clear, reliable communication, building trust, you genuinely want to serve others, and you value teamwork as a means to success. I'll get into specific details in a moment. First, try this. Here's an old expression that goes like this: me against my brother, but my brother and me against the neighborhood. What it means is that I may fight with my brother, but when the neighborhood bully picks on him, they have to fight us both because we're united against the common threat. In the budget process, say, instead of you against me, a better way is you and me against the problem of not enough money. Repeat this to your management team and ask for buy-in. Say, infighting and competing against scarce resources is bad management. None of us like it. Going to the executive or the council on your own is cheating. We have a chance to solve our own problems, and here is how I propose to win as a team. Here is my promise to you, my colleagues, department directors, police and fire chiefs, etc. I will capture all unfunded budget requests. I won't lose them. I will share the list with the whole team. The chief executive prioritizes, but this budget process is built on fairness and openness. You don't have to ask for buy-in at this point, but it's implied. You haven't earned their trust yet, but I think you do have to go first with this promise. Now, here is your offer to the executive, the city manager or mayor. Offer them this. When requests come from the city council or the community, please use finance as the bad guy. Use the waiting list. Promise the council and the community the exact thing. We will hear you. Your request is important and it will not get lost. Mayor or city manager, I will serve you by being your scribe, your scorekeeper, and I will channel all requests back to you on the budget needs wait list. As the year plays out after adoption, you will have to deliver on your promise, but you work with your executive. Start early after adoption. Bring the list back to the department directors. Ask for additions, edits, corrections. Keep it transparent to the team. You may be familiar with the Eisenhower Matrix that weighs importance versus urgency. Things that are both urgent and important have to get done now. It's the other areas that we struggle with. Urgent areas that are unimportant drain resources, and those should be avoided. Unimportant and non-urgent things should be kept on the list so we don't lose them. But it's the important things that are not urgent that should be planned and focused. Now, I'd like to say you focus on the yellow box because the green box is stuff that gets done, and your yellow box needs careful planning. However, in the real world, I think it's rare that everything in the green box actually gets funded. This is a two-dimensional grid, and I'm going to recognize greater complexity. I'm going to add two more dimensions. Funding availability is a factor. As I said, we know there's not enough money. This one's a little counterintuitive. Available funding, of course, goes to the important, urgent must-haves, and you probably don't have enough money for all of those. This is to consider that you might want to defer some items if there's a possibility or probability that grant funding or some other source may come through later. We want to consider this. Lastly, we're looking at new versus existing. Simply put, you don't want to be creating new obligations if you can't keep up with existing obligations. That sounds obvious, and it is, but you need to articulate it as a part of your prioritizing process. How do you manage a four-dimensional matrix? Use 4 columns to score every budget request. Then sort the ones that are important, urgent, and make progress on existing obligations. Those that sort to the top are where your limited dollars go to next, with a mind to upcoming possible new funding. Giving respect and fairness works. Your list management, though, has got to have some rationale, and you have to share it openly. Everyone gets it. You just have to give updates. Be transparent and honest. Work so everyone feels fairly treated. They can handle disappointments. We all know there is not enough money to go around, but respect and fairness works. When you get new revenues or savings, I recommend greenlighting 50%. Don't spend it all. Everyone knows surprises happen, and you have to keep contingency funding in reserve. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I'd appreciate your feedback in the comments. I don't care if you subscribe or like or share this video. It's a free country, and I believe that when I figure out what content is worthwhile, it'll get liked and shared. I would appreciate your comments to help guide my further attempts at creating useful videos. I truly believe that as public servants, when the people we serve thrive, we thrive. That means our businesses and our community, our taxpayers and homeowners, and inside City Hall, it means every city employee. In finance, we succeed only when those we serve succeed. Thanks for watching.